YouTubers and gamers alike? Red Crimson Gaming here. Guys, April 24th on Thursday is the magical day, is the pre-order day. And speaking of pre-orders, Best Buy has finally released the time when you can pre-order the Nintendo Switch, which is going to be around the same time as every other retailer such as GameStop, Walmart, and Target. Like I thought it would. It just makes sense. Best Buy does not want to miss out on this big of a moment, this monumental moment of the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders, especially with the Switch 2 release right around the corner. So if you guys prefer to pre-order your games and consoles at Best Buy, well, I'm letting you know now that Best Buy is opening up pre-orders on Thursday midnight, just like every other major retailer, and that is Walmart, Target, and GameStop. And I'm hearing through the grapevine that GameStop is going to do a midnight release. I kind of do not believe that, but that's the rumor I'm hearing. Maybe select GameStops won't be doing a midnight launch, but I don't even see GameStop missing out on a monumental moment such as the release of the most anticipated system, the Nintendo Switch 2 launch. Come on now, I do not believe that. So guys and girls, Thursday, get ready to add Nintendo Switch 2 to your carts and check out. Have your credit card ready, whatever card that you use, whatever payment type that you normally use, and get ready to get that Nintendo Switch pre-order going. Anyway, moving along. Nintendo let's talk about that Nintendo Switch Pro 2 controller with those awesome smooth glide sticks that I've been hearing so much about. I hear the Switch 2 Pro controller is a big improvement over the original Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and the charge time will be cut in half to 3.5 hours. So I was hearing that it took 6.5 to 7 hours to charge the original Switch Pro controller. I didn't even know that. Normally I would just plug it up and walk away, wake up, but I didn't know it took that long. But anyway, it'll essentially take 3.5 hours to charge your new Nintendo Switch Pro 2 controller. The controller, remember guys, has a back paddles on the back. It has the haptic feedback too. Shoulder buttons are awesome. The face buttons look bigger. And most importantly, guys, I'm hearing that the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller will have 40 hours of battery life. Now, the OG Nintendo Switch Pro controller had awesome battery life. So Nintendo stepping it up with the Pro 2 controller. And as I said before, I have several custom-made Nintendo Switch Pro controllers. So I don't think I will be picking one up at launch, and it may not even be available anyway. I'm pretty sure they're going to be sold out. So it all depends on how fast you get to the store, pretty much, and what spot in the line you are. If you're in the back, you already know you're not going to get no Nintendo Switch Pro 2 controller because they're going to be sold out by the time you get into the store, man. But as tempting as it is, I think I'm going to hold off on the Switch 2 Pro controller, and I really do want one, but I'm not pressed to get one because I have several Pro controllers accompanied by a whole bunch of third-party controllers. Do you know how many controllers I have for my Nintendo Switch? I don't need to get any more new controllers. So if I do pick up the Pro 2 controller, it's just because that's just the collector in me. But eventually I'm going to get one. If not at launch, later. And I think I'm going to skip out on that. I think I'm actually going to just get the console, the Mario Kart bundle, and call it a day. And it also depends on what games they're going to launch for this thing. So let's talk about Cyberpunk. Have you guys heard of good news yet? Evidently, CD Projekt Red have came out and said that publicly that Cyberpunk for the Nintendo Switch is using DLSS in all modes. So that's in handheld mode and that's in docked mode, as well as a performance mode and graphics mode. So that's good to know. It seems like this may be one of the first games to use DLSS, but if I had to guess, I would think that every single game on the Nintendo Switch is using DLSS because it's pretty much baked into the GPU. So, I mean, CD Projekt Red is maybe the only company that came out so far and admitted that they're using DLSS, but I think mostly all the developers are using DLSS even out of the gate with the launch titles. They just haven't came forth and said that yet, but that's good to know for you Cyberpunk fans out there, and for you Nintendo fans out there that never got a chance to play Cyberpunk. Well, this is the best time to play Cyberpunk, and I have Cyberpunk on pretty much all my platforms. I have it on PC, PS4, and I believe PS5, and I think the Xbox. Yeah, all platforms. And I've never played it on consoles. I initially started playing Cyberpunk on release date on my PC, and all the issues that people were talking about, surprisingly, I never really ran into any issues playing Cyberpunk on my computer, and this is without the patch. But it's one of those games where you have to keep on playing it, because once you put the controller down, I found myself not going back to it. It's a decent game. I think it's cool. I like the story, but it's in a way it's kind of overhyped. So there are so many better games out there, so I never really went back to playing it. But I'm thinking about maybe getting it on the Nintendo Switch, because hey, I'm a big Nintendo Switch fan, a big Nintendo fan, and majority of the games that are released on these current consoles, any consoles for that matter, I'd rather play them on a Nintendo system, and I enjoy my games pretty much on a Nintendo console. So I think if I do pick up Cyberpunk for the Nintendo Switch too, I probably more than likely will be playing it to the very end, especially I can walk around, take it to work and whatnot. So thank you CD Projekt Red for putting Cyberpunk on a Nintendo Switch and showing the public what the Switch 2 is capable of. Now, as far as the pricing and stuff, you know what? I don't even want to talk about the pricing anymore, because the price doesn't really matter. Don't get me wrong. I love a good deal. I love cheap games. I love low prices, but it is what it is. I'm not going to beat that dead horse, because from what I'm hearing, even with the price hike on games and accessories, and even those $40 amiibos, which are ridiculous, by the way, I'm hearing through the grapevine that a Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders are through the roof. And I am not surprised, guys. I am not surprised. And nobody should. Out the gate, the original Nintendo Switch was sold out. They killed the competition. Some people took them 2-3 years just to get their hands on a Nintendo Switch. That's how often the Nintendo Switch was sold out. So the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming off of a very, very successful OG Nintendo Switch. So it's a no-brainer, and it makes sense for the Nintendo Switch 2 to take off. But this is great news for Nintendo and great news for fans. Great news for all of us. You know why? Because if the Switch 2 is successful, we will get plenty of games to play. Listen, man, Nintendo, they're gonna kill it. I know this. It's a no-brainer, guys. I do not have to second guess this. I do not have to look into a crystal ball to know that the Switch 2 is going to be successful. But I'm very happy to hear that the pre-orders are through the roof. People are buying this thing at an alarming rate. That's great news. So obviously, price is not a factor. People are just eating the pre-orders up. And come June 5th, when this thing finally launches, oh man, it's going to be hard to find on shelves. And I'm glad that Nintendo topped up the amount of Switch 2 that they shipped to America. But it's all good news, guys. All good news. I cannot wait. I can't believe This is right around the corner. The Switch 2 is right around the corner, guys. I am so excited. I just hope that I can secure a Nintendo Switch 2 with no problem. Nintendo's the only console I actually go out on a whim for. I was lucky with the original Nintendo Switch. Actually, I don't even think I was lucky. I mean, when it comes to Nintendo always falls right into my hands. And the OG Switch launch day, I secured my Nintendo Switch with no problem. And I'm thinking, even if I don't get a pre-order, I may go back to my spot, keep the legacy alive, and go back to my spot where I managed to secure a Nintendo Switch with no problem. But something tells me deep down in my bones that I won't have a problem securing a Nintendo Switch 2, even with a walk-in. Yeah, guys, so that's about it. Oh, one last thing. I talked about this on my last video, so I'll just briefly touch on this topic again. Digital Foundry is a joke. They lost all credibility in my eyes. And guys, Digital Foundry does not know everything. You can't look at a video and determine if a game is 4K or if it's using DLSS and whatnot. That's just ridiculous. And they need to stop saying that the Switch is on par with the PS4. The Switch is actually more powerful than both the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. But whatever, guys, who really cares, right? The most important thing is that the Nintendo Switch is able to run all current gen games. That's all that matters. It's a handheld at the end of the day. I do not expect it to put out PS5 visuals, but the funny thing about it is, guys, I mean, it's almost like splitting hairs now. I mean, it's scary how far we've came with technology, where you have a handheld that rivals a console. But as long as I can play my games in 60 FPS, 120 FPS, I'm fine, honestly. I'm not really too big on graphics. As long as the game is 60 FPS, I do not want to play any more 30 FPS games. So, guys, if you're new to my channel, like and subscribe. For everybody else, keep on supporting me so I can keep on bringing these videos to you guys, and it does help my channel out a whole lot. Meet me in the comment section and let me know if you are excited for the Nintendo Switch 2. Are you getting the Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day? And are you going to pre-order? And what major retailer are you thinking of pre-ordering from? Red Crimson, I'm out of here.